Hello everyone! So this week we're going to be looking at comparing fractions to 1/2. So we have our worksheet here, and the first thing we're going to do is zoom in. So we'll go to View, click on Zoom, and then usually 100% is good. Once we've got that done, we can scroll up, and the first thing we need to do is label the number lines. And putting fractions on a number line is just another way to represent them. So far we've looked at representing fractions using a shape, such as a circle or a square. We've used fraction bars, which is just the rectangle with it sectioned into the different parts. So the number line here is the same kind of thing, just a different way to show it. All of the number lines go from 0 to 1, and 1 just represents if you had all the sections filled in. And because we're comparing everything to 1/2 today, we have what we'd call it our benchmark, and it's 1/2, and it's this dark line down the middle. So in order to know how to label these fractions, we first need to figure out what our denominator would be. So to do that, I just like to count the different sections. So I'll start at 0, I'll hop over to the first one. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, and then in this whole, so in one whole thing, there are 3 sections. So my denominator for both of these fractions is going to be 3. So I click on the text box, and once my cursor shows up, I can begin typing. Now, it's a little difficult on PowerPoint to have a fraction look like this, where you have your numerator on the top and the denominator on the bottom. So we are just going to use our slash to help us with that. So because this is the first section, I'm going to put 1 as my numerator, slash 3 as my denominator, because there were 3 sections that we counted. My next one is going to be 2 for the numerator, and then again 3 for the denominator. And then this one over here is just one whole, so you can either write 1 like they have here, or it would be the same as 3 over 3, so 3/3. And you just want to go through and label all of them. So this one that I have, remember that each section needs to be equal. So because we have this 1/2 mark down the middle here, this from here to here still counts as one section. Because if we just hopped straight from this line to this line, this is not the same distance from here to here. So we have to count this as a mark as well. So for this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So my denominator is going to be 4. So this first one is 1/4. And the middle one is already labeled for us, so I don't have anything to put there. It would be 2/4, which is the same thing as 1/2, because 2 is just half of 4. The next one is going to be our third hop. So this would be 3 for the numerator, and then 4 again for the denominator. And then you would just continue on and label the rest of your number lines. It's very important to keep in mind each time that the sections must be completely equal, so you need to decide whether or not to count the 1/2 mark. In my first example, I didn't count it because this section would have been too short to be the same size as this one. In the second example, I did count it because otherwise, if I didn't, this section would have been far too large to be the same as what it is here. In the next one, it looks like it would be too short, so I probably wouldn't count it. So just keep that in mind, otherwise your fractions might end up being a little bit off. Once you have all of the different number lines labeled and the fractions put into the boxes, you can fill out this bottom part. So you have to say whether each fraction is greater than, less than, or equal to 1/2. So 2/3 is our first one. And I can go up and look at my fraction that is split into 3 parts, because that's showing me thirds. And I've got 2/3 over here, and that's past 1/2. So this tells me that 2/3 is greater than 1/2, because greater than just means larger. So I would click here, type in greater, and then that one would be complete, and I could move on. So that's basically all you need to know for this week's activity. I'll definitely be checking to make sure that you have your number lines labeled correctly and that the parts you have counted properly by deciding whether or not to count that 1/2 mark. And then down at the bottom as well, I will be checking to see that these are filled in. If you have any questions, just let me know. And other than that, good luck.